She was a Roma, a gypsy girl, young, beautiful, poor, and happy. She had left the encampment and she was walking barefoot on the mossy path into the forest. Next to the path, there stood a high tree. And under the tree, there stood an old woman, a very, very old woman. "Good evening, grandmother," said the girl. "Is there anything I can do for you?" "I don't need a thing. I didn't ask for a thing." "Excuse me, grandmother, I didn't want to disturb you. I just thought." "You thought," said the old woman. "You are one of those who think of others. You're one of those that have a good heart. That has to be rewarded. And you're lucky because I have magic powers. And I will show you the way to your luck. Listen, once a year, in the midsummer night, while the clock strikes 12, the fern in the wood is blooming. And she who plucks one flower while the clock strikes 12, she will have all her wishes granted. Beautiful dress, jewelry, riches. And that's not all. She who plucks the flower will have secret knowledge of the future, her future, and the future of others. And I will show you the way how to get there. Stay on the path. You will meet a snake. A snake? Yes. Don't be afraid. It won't harm you. Just look it straight into the eyes and it will let you pass. Next, there will be a castle. A castle? Yes. And out of the kitchen, there will waft odors of baking and broiling. Don't go there. Continue your way to the flower of the fern. Next, you will meet a knight in shining armor. A knight in shining armor? Yes? Yes. He will offer you a bouquet of red roses. Don't take them. Go for the flower of the fern. The girl wanted to say thank you, but the old woman was gone, disappeared, vanished. Well, it was midsummer night, and it was late already. She would go for it. Yes, she walked on the path, and after a while, a snake blocked the road. The head high to strike, the mouth open, the tongue flicking, but she looked straight at that snake, and the snake slithered away, let her pass. She walked on, walked and walked. It was getting darker and darker. She couldn't see the path anymore. She didn't feel moss under her naked feet anymore. There were roots, stones and thorns, and it was pitch dark in the woods. She couldn't see her way, but in the distance, there was a light. She came out of the forest, there was a clearing, and there stood a castle. And out of the kitchen wafted an odor of baking and broiling. And behind the lit windows, ladies and gentlemen were dancing. she didn't even look. She went on her way to the flower of the fern. And then she heard a clippity-clop, 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 and towards her came, sitting on a white stallion, a knight in shining armor, holding a bouquet of red roses, saying to her, "They are for you, my beautiful one. Come with me to my castle, be my sweetheart." She looked him up and down. "I'm a Roma. I don't go with the first one I'm meeting." And she continued her way towards the flower of the fern. The moon was coming out of dark clouds, and in the distance, a clock struck 12. 1, 2, 3. There, at her feet, the ferns were blooming, the flowers were sparkling and twinkling in the silver light of the moon. It was beautiful. 4, 5, 6. She stretched out her hand to pluck a flower. 7, 8, 9. What am I doing? She thought. Riches? What do I need riches for? I have everything I need. 10. And knowing the future, knowing everything that will happen, no more guessing, no more wishing, no more dreaming. 11. No! She cried. 12. The moon disappeared behind a dark cloud. The flowers of the fern had disappeared. She stood alone in the dark forest. She had chosen freedom. She was a Roma, a gypsy girl, young, beautiful, poor, but happy and free.